battle for the second running back spot with the Bears is heating up, and it's shaping up to be a fascinating showdown. On one side, there's Roschon Johnson, a player who entered the league amid high expectations but stumbled in his sophomore season. The burning question, was it truly his performance that disappointed, or was he misused within the offensive scheme? It's a valid debate, because despite his overall struggles, Johnson showed flashes of brilliance in short yardage situations. He punched in 6 touchdowns on a mere 55 carries, each time grinding out crucial yards, those one-and-done plays that often determine the rhythm of a game. Of course, piling up so many of those short burst carries tends to drop your average yards per carry. If your reps are mostly ride-along 1 or 2 yard bursts, your stats don't exactly light up the scoreboard. Nonetheless, that rookie season, where he was effectively the third down, short yardage back, felt much more promising. He looked explosive, decisive, ready to pounce whenever called upon. But last year, with the weight of being the team's second back resting on his shoulders, something just didn't click. Compounding those concerns are questions about durability and how wear and tear might affect his style. Johnson has already suffered at least 1 concussion in each of his first 2 seasons. Now, you factor that into the equation. Regular contact, bruising hits, shorter bursts of contact. That could take a toll on a player, both physically and mentally. So while he's shown grit and a willingness to put his shoulder down and power through defenders, there remains a persistent question. Can he sustain that level of physicality week after week, game after game? Then enter Manungai, whose collegiate track record at Rutgers has fans excited. He dominates the stat sheet year after year, consistently over 2,500 rushing yards across 2 seasons, with a sturdy average of 5 yards per carry and an imposing 21 rushing touchdowns to his name. Yet, his role as a pass catcher was minimal, which had some scouts questioning his versatility. But here's where things get intriguing. During the Bears offseason OTAs and minicamp, those early summer practices that allow you to evaluate young talent, Manungai reportedly impressed coaches with his hands. Multiple sources from within the team said he showed real promise catching the football, a skill set that could fast-track his pathway to the roster. And let's face it, if you're building a modern NFL offense, you want a running back who can do more than just run between the tackles. You need someone who can slip out into the flat, catch the ball, and hit the second level. That added tool in his belt gives him leverage in a heated competition like this. Both backs bring a physical approach to hitting the hole, and both can handle contact. Manungai has elite balance. He stays upright through tackles, he shifts direction late. He looks like he can spring free if a defender misses. Johnson, on the other hand, is known to lower his shoulder, drive through tacklers, and assert himself in the trenches. It's the kind of grit you want from your RB2, the type of player who lights a fire in practice every single day. And honestly, that's why this feels like one of those vision test competitions. Both guys possess his and her traits that coaches value. In a perfect world, Manungai might edge ahead simply because of his rookie status and the 4-year contract structure that comes with it. Lower salary cap hit, greater long-term value. If he wins the spot, the Bears reap both performance and payroll benefits. Hub cost is always low, production can soar, and you've got flexibility to pivot in a couple years. But the NFL is never perfect, and the better player will ultimately take the job. The hope is that both backs show up on game day ready to compete. They'll be driven. They'll be angry to see an opportunity slip through their fingers. That said, for now, Johnson appears to have a slight edge. He has the inside track. Being the incumbent matters in a league built on repetition and trust. But make no mistake, this is set to be one of the most intense and closely watched competitions on the Bears roster. Who takes the RB2 role behind DeAndre Swift? Will one back seize the job early, or will the coaches ride both through training camp, sprinkling reps depending on matchup or practice performance? We're talking about guys whose futures could hinge on their summer performance. A fumble, a drop pass, a strong run early in camp. Those moments can shape the trajectory of an entire season. And let's not forget, this landscape is never static. The league is always looking for upgrades, and the Bears aren't immune to making moves. If neither guy proves decisively better, or if one falters early, Don't be surprised if the front office explores adding another back to the room. That possibility always hangs in the background. But for now, it's an internal fight. For fantasy heads, for draft nerds, and for anyone tracking depth chart battles, this is the storyline to watch from now until late August. After all, in the NFL, nothing is a given. Johnson worked hard as a rookie to carve out his identity, but he stumbled in year 2. Does he have a resolve to bounce back? Manungai arrives polished, well-rounded, and low cost. But does he have enough juice to beat out the guy with the edge now? Either way, the cultivar, or chemistry, of this competition could define the Bears' backfield dynamic for seasons to come. The running back drama may be the headliner, but it's far from the only intriguing question surrounding this Bears squad heading into the season. When you look at the roster from top to bottom, there are a handful of positions where the starters might be set, but the depth battles could end up being the real story. One of the more underrated debates involves what happens at wide receiver, specifically the possibility of Keenan Allen returning. Now, on paper, the Bears seem solid with DJ, Moore, and Romo Duns locked in as the top 2 options. But that third spot? That could open the door for some surprise decisions. Keenan Allen is still a name that holds weight. He's experienced, polished, and perhaps most importantly, trusted by rookie quarterback Caleb Williams. Chemistry between a wideout and his quarterback can take months, sometimes years, to develop. But if the season begins and no one steps up as a true WR3, and Keenan is still on the market, you have to think the Bears make a call. Whether it's because a younger guy isn't developing fast enough or an injury to one of the top 2, the path back for Allen exists. It's not about sentiment. It's about security. You want a veteran out there who knows how to get open and can convert on 3rd and 7 in the fourth quarter when it matters. Depth matters more than ever in today's NFL, especially along the offensive line. Injuries are almost inevitable, and the difference between a solid backup and a liability can swing a season. Behind the starters, guys like Bill Murray, Luke Newman, and Ryan Bates need to prove they can hold the fort if called upon. Murray showed some flashes last year before injury, and Newman is an intriguing rookie. If those depth pieces come together, it gives the Bears an insurance policy no one talks about until it's needed, and then it's everything. Kicker drama? Yeah, there's even tension there. Cairo Santos has been rock solid in terms of accuracy, but his range is a real limitation. He's made 8 of 9 from 50-plus yards, but his long last year was only 54, and his career max is 55. You can't ignore that when you're playing in cold weather games at Soldier Field. The Bears brought in Jonathan Kim, who's got a booming leg. And in today's NFL, having a kicker who can hit from 60 matters. When you're lining up a 58-yard field goal in a 2-minute drill, you want to believe your guy can reach it. With Santos, there's hesitation, not because he's inaccurate, but because you're not sure he can even get it there. That changes your play calling. That changes your confidence. On the defensive side again, don't sleep on Major Burns. He's an undrafted free agent, but there's a path to the final 53. If the team keeps 5 safeties, he could be that 5th guy, especially if he outplays Ty Johnson in special teams reps. If they only keep 4, though, it gets tough. You'd have to knock off someone like Elijah Hicks or Jonathan Owens, both of whom bring a lot to the table. Hicks, especially, is a special teams ace. So if Burns wants to make it, he's got to show out not just in coverage, but when chasing down kicks. That's where the decision will be made. And while we're on the subject of special teams and depth roles, don't overlook the return game. The Bears need someone electric back there, someone who can flip field position, break one every now and then, and force opposing kickers to hesitate. Those hidden yards can win games, especially when you're in a division that's constantly up for grabs. One of the wild cards in all this is the quarterback situation. Obviously, Caleb Williams is the guy. He's the future, and if things break right, he could be the face of the franchise for the next decade. But what about Tyson Bagent? He's got talent. He flashed last preseason. If Caleb gets banged up or needs a break mid-season, do you trust Bagent to run the offense? He's not just holding a clipboard. He's one snap away from being under center in the NFL. That's why every rep in camp matters. Every preseason game is huge for him. He needs to prove he can manage the offense, protect the football, and lead scoring drives when the lights come on. Even on defense, the storylines are thick. Austin Booker turned heads last preseason. Can he do it again? And can that performance finally translate into regular season snaps? You know what you have in some veterans, but guys like Booker, Turner, and even undrafted rookies can push the envelope if they show enough spark in August. That's what these weeks are for, separating the hype from the real. So, while most fans are focused on big names and splashy plays, the front office is watching the margins. Who can contribute on special teams? Who knows their assignment in situational football? Who's going to stay disciplined when it's 4th and inches or 3rd and long? Those are the decisions that shape rosters. That's how you build a team that can go deep in the postseason, not just show up in September. Every practice rep matters. Every preseason snap matters. For some guys, it's the beginning of a career. For others, it's their last chance. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are swirling around the NFL world as a shocking possibility gains traction. Nick Bosa, the fierce defensive end who has been a cornerstone of the San Francisco 49ers defense, could be on the verge of a stunning betrayal. Rumors are heating up that Bosa might be ready to abandon the red and gold and sign with the Chicago Bears, igniting a frenzy among fans and analysts alike. Nick Bosa has been synonymous with the 49ers ever since he was drafted, quickly becoming one of the league's most feared pass rushers and a vital part of the team's defensive identity. His relentless pressure on quarterbacks and ability to disrupt defensive plays made him a fan favorite and a key player in San Francisco's recent playoff runs. So the mere suggestion that he might leave the Bay Area is enough to send shockwaves through the NFL community. Sources close to the situation have hinted that talks between Bosa's camp and the Bears have been more than casual discussions. The Bears, who have struggled to build a dominant defense in recent years, are reportedly eager to bolster their front line with a player of Bosa's caliber. Chicago's ambitions to return to playoff contention seem to be fueling their interest in securing a marquee defensive star. And what better way to announce their intent than by courting a player as impactful as Bosa? From San Francisco's perspective, losing Bosa would be a major blow, a traitorous departure, some might say, considering the player's integral role in their defensive schemes and the emotional connection he built with the team and its supporters. The 49ers have a solid roster, but replacing a talent like Bosa isn't straightforward. The team's defensive coordinator would certainly need to rethink strategies and personnel if the departure becomes reality. Meanwhile, the Bears could see this as a transformative move. Nick Bosa's presence on the defense could instantly elevate the team's pass rush and overall performance, energizing the locker room and fan base. For a franchise hungry for success and a return to prominence, landing Bosa would be a headline-grabbing coup, signaling a renewed commitment to building a competitive roster. Of course, at this stage, everything remains speculation. No official statements have been made by either team or the players' representatives. But the buzz is undeniable. NFL insiders are watching closely, and fans on both coasts are bracing for the possibility of one of the league's most dynamic defenders switching allegiances in a move that could reshape the NFL landscape. Is this a calculated career move by Bosa, a strategic play by the Bears, or merely a rumor destined to fade away? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. If Nick Bosa does indeed abandon the 49ers for the Bears, the NFL will be in for one of the most dramatic off-season storylines in recent memory. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.